Welcome to Feagan and Finch, the podcast where we discuss everything football related. I'm Alex Finch.
And I'm Ryan Feagan. Let's talk football.
So for this week's episode, I'm thinking we should talk about the most underrated club and international teams since 2000. The sides which achieved things unexpected and against the odds, but are not appreciated enough. And we're just looking at the period since 2000. So we'll give a bit of sunshine to some of these great forgotten teams. And we'll ultimately try and agree upon the most underrated team since 2000. It's going to be a tough ask, I'm sure. We'll have different ideas, but
it's going to be a good
we'll
one.
get there. It's going to be a good one.
Do
you want to kick off things with a suggestion?
I'm just going through my notes right now. I'm trying to think of a good one to start off. I will start off very early on from the year 2000 to 2001. A team with a lot of history. In the past few years, I haven't been doing the best, but they're slowly back on the rise now and trying to push for that Premier League return. I've gone for the 2000-2001 Leeds United team.
Great shout.
Unbelievable squad. Unbelievable talent in that team. Rio Ferdinand, Ian Hart, Lee Bowyer, David Batty, Harry Kewell, Alan Smith, and Mark Viduka, all in the same team. All in the same starting 11. Incredible. And they managed to finish fourth in the league, which obviously the Champions League finish. A memorable game I remember from that year was the 4-3 against Liverpool, where Mark Viduka famously scored 4 goals to win the game. Absolutely unreal. And that's why Mark Viduka was always one of my favourite strikers. Natural born scorer, does it whichever club he's at, whether it be Leeds, Newcastle, Middlesbrough. Unbelievable talent. Absolutely unbelievable. And a player and team who I feel like is not appreciated enough in the Premier League. I don't know your thoughts on that, Finch.
No, I completely agree. They had a really solid team. A lot of those players went on to do bigger. No, I said bigger actually, just having good careers after that. Like Viduka went on to Newcastle and Middlesbrough. Did great there. And you had people like Bowyer who was solid at that team. Ian Hart was a great left back. He scored free kicks left, right, and centre.
Unbelievable player.
They had a great defence with Ferdinand obviously coming through. He was bought. I think the following season he was bought, wasn't he, from West Ham? And actually, they did quite well in the Champions League, which surprised people as well. So I guess you could actually look at that Leeds side over the period, not just that 2001 season, but like 2000 to 2003 maybe, because of how well they did the following season in Europe.
Yeah, they had the crack in there.
The likes of like Alan Smith are a bit ridiculed now because his time at United wasn't great, but at the time he was a great player.
Exactly, at the time, fantastic player. But with that player, he had a lot of ability, but he was very, very injury prone, and that was the sad reality of his career.
Yeah, he did.
Is he still playing?
Yeah, I think he retired last year. He's played Notts County for about 3 or 4 years.
That's what I was. I remember him being at Notts County.
Surprising that he had a lot of injuries in the sort of peak period, but then seemed to have a good sort of lower league career at Championship and League One with NK Dons, then Notts County, I think.
That's it. Another one from that team who I absolutely adored watching, Harry Kewell. I thought it was absolutely fantastic talent. Didn't really do the best of play to the best of his ability at Liverpool, but his time at Leeds showed that he was an incredible winger. He could do it all. He had everything in his locker. Fantastic left foot on him.
We probably saw the best of him at Leeds, but although saying that he's still won the Champions League at Liverpool.
Yeah, still won the Champions League. Yeah,
and great. One of the few great Australian players. We actually had 2 Australian players in that team. 2 great Australian players, Viduka and Kewell, which is incredible. And
great team.
I think whilst we're talking about that season, we've also got a mention of a team which just finished below.
Here it comes.
That's my beloved Ipswich. So for those who don't know, I support Ipswich. So that's why I try to get them in here. But I do think they are worthy of a mention in this podcast in terms of underrated teams. So this team, the 2000-2001 Ipswich team, is hardly ever mentioned inside of the last 20 years, which punched well above their weight. It was Ipswich's first season back in the Premier League after winning the playoffs, great playoffs against Barnsley at the old Wembley. It was actually the last game, I think, last competitive game at the old Wembley. And then in that season, they finished 5th in the Premier League. 5th. Absolutely incredible finish, which is
just
not
for a little club
enough.
from Suffolk.
Of course, great history, but it's been a number of years since they've done anything significant. They've been in the Premier League early 90s, then went down, then came back up in that season. It looked like they were going to come up a few seasons before that, because they were getting in the playoffs every year between 1997 to 2000. So it looked like they were going to get there at some point, but they hadn't obviously done too much in terms of that history period between 1985 to 2000. And to get a 5th place Premier League finish on their first season back in the Premier League is incredible. And just thinking about it, it gave Ipswich European football next season with UEFA Cup, it was called at the time. Squad was largely unchanged from the Championship. And it's incredible when you think about it. That's a team like Sheffield United at the moment, for example, are getting a lot of praise, but they're only 7th in the league. Ipswich are 5th.
That's what I mean. Has there been a better team that's been promoted and finished higher than Ipswich?
Well, you say that. There has been another team, and that was another Ipswich team. This is before the Premier League. So 1961-62, we're going back a long time here. But
bloody hell.
Ipswich won the first division, so the equivalent of Premier League in 1961 and 1962. And the incredible fact about this is the previous season, they were in the second division. So in their first season, after being promoted, they won the league. And that's why Alf Ramsey, after doing that, because what an incredible feat, Alf Ramsey got the England manager job, because people must be thinking, oh, wow, look at this guy. He's made this team and stuff, this little team no one really knew about, win a league after just coming up from the second division. So, but that's pre-Premier League era, and when you're looking at 2000 as well. But I think if you look at Ipswich that season as well, they got wins against Leeds. So we just talked about that great Leeds side that season.
Yeah,
they got
fantastic
wins against Leeds. And I think they were only maybe a point behind them in the league, or 2 points. It was quite close.
It wasn't far off.
They got wins against Liverpool away, Spurs at home 3-0, and they had a good cup run in the League Cup. So they got to the semi-final of the League Cup. George Burley was the manager, a former Ipswich player, club legend. He was there for the great times when they won the UEFA Cup, the FA Cup, 1978, 1981. It's also sort of worth mentioning that there wasn't really many signings. So the stand-up being Herman Hreiderson, great career after that at Charlton at Portsmouth. And we also made the Dutch maestro Martin Ruijs's deal permanent. So he was a great hero in the playoff run. So he scored a goal in the playoff final. And overall, the team was actually quite solid coming up from the Championship. So we had Richard Wright in goal. Later went on to Arsenal and played for England. Probably out of his depth a little bit there, but great player. Similar with Titus Bramble, now ridiculed a bit, but defender who had quite a few Premier League appearances, went to Newcastle, Sunderland and Wigan.
I quite rated Titus Bramble. He was good for what he did. He weren't really much of anything, but what he could do, he could defend, and he was a big unit. Didn't really have it in the later days though.
Probably he had all the abilities, a bit like John Stones, he reminds me of. He had a lot of ability, but just you knew he was going to have an error at some point.
That's the thing.
He had an error in him. And another player who was, like I talked about before, signing we had that year, Herman Hreiderson, what a player he was. Absolute legend. For his little period there, went on.
He's mainly known for his time at Portsmouth, I would say, Herman Hreiderson, but fantastic player for Ipswich now. And
then another player is probably not known outside of Ipswich too well, but Fabian Wilness, great player. So they're moving on to midfield, where Jim Magilton, absolute maestro. He was fundamental to that team, right in the middle. He was probably the most important player in the playoffs. He got great goals against Bolton.
Legend.
Some great memories. Bolton 2000. Ipswich Bolton playoff semi-finals. He got some great goals there. Martin Royce in midfield as well. Matt Holland, what a player Matt Holland was at his time at Ipswich.
Matt Holland.
Then Charlton, even for Republic of Ireland, he scored a goal in the World Cup. Great goal outside the box. But what a player he was for Ipswich. Absolute club legend. He still has quite a big role at Ipswich now. I think he's a club ambassador. He runs a bar opposite the ground. I've been there a few times.
We've been there a few times, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great player for Ipswich, fundamental to them doing well that season, and later at Charlton, great player. Jamie Clapham as well, and then up front with Jamie Scrowcroft. James Scrowcroft, great player. Alan Armstrong, who was probably most famous for getting a goal against Inter Milan the next year after Ipswich qualifying for Europe, and we actually won against Inter Milan 1-0. We also had Marcus Stewart, who's probably the standout player from this team in terms of stats. He got 21 goals in the league It's a really underrated player that season. 21 goals in the Premier League. And I think maybe this team's underrated a bit because they didn't go on and achieve anything after. They got relegated the next season.
Ah, wow. So Europe would seem to be too much for them to handle as well as a Premier League season. How did they get on in that in the UEFA Cup run?
I think they got to maybe the last 16, the last 32, but I think the standout result was beating Inter Milan 1-0 at home.
Ronaldo's in Milan.
Yeah, and they brought it was a great little European adventure for it. So we brought 5, 6, 7,000 pounds to San Siro.
Oh wow!
On the away leg. So I think we were in the group with Inter. So it was a sort of a great little European adventure. But ultimately, I think the next season the great thing about the Ipswich team was they kept a lot of their core squad from the Championship and played faithful. And then the next season, made a few signings who looked good on paper. People like Findy George, who was part of the Ajax team, which won the Champions League in the mid-90s. Looked like great player on paper, which didn't work out. So we signed some other players. I think Marcus Bent maybe put like that. Just didn't work out.
No.
Which wasn't amazing for Ipswich at the time. And then we went down, went to administration, and problems followed. So that's maybe why this team isn't thought about in the high regard it deserves, really.
No, but it definitely deserves a mention on this podcast, 100%. Fantastic team. My next one is a team from, in my opinion, probably the greatest ever season in English football. It is the 2011-2012 season. You got the famous Aguero moment, that win the league in the last minute. You got Chelsea winning the Champions League, and you've also got a squad from up north with a lot of talent, and that is Newcastle United.
Great shout. That was actually on my list as well.
Yeah, Newcastle United. That season, unbelievable amount of talent. You think in goal, you've got fantastic talent at every position pretty much. You've got in goal, you've got Tim Krul, Holland #1. Unbelievable keeper. One of the best penalty stoppers in the world. Still is today. Incredible talent. You've got James Perch. I don't really know what he amounted to after his time at Newcastle. I think he went to Wigan, if I'm not mistaken. Did he have a spell at Wigan?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. He's not like one of the standout right backs probably from Newcastle. You're looking at great right backs from Newcastle. You've got to go Debussy, I'd say, over Perch, but still.
But at the time as well, you had Danny Simpson at right back, and sort of Perch was deputising a bit there as well.
You got Colaccini, unbelievable talent, probably a club legend for Newcastle fans, I'd say.
Yeah, he went down with them, didn't he? And went back up with them. Was a captain, colossal defender.
Great defender. Mike Williamson, fantastic centre back alongside him. Davide Santon, fantastic left back. Cheick Tiote, rest in peace, my friend. What a player! What a talent that guy was in the centre defence.
Centre midfield. So.
Yeah, unbelievable player. Always obviously going to be remembered for that cracking goal he scored against Arsenal in the 4-4
Beautiful
draw.
volley.
So he got him in front of the defence, and then just a little in front, you've got a French maestro, a set-piece specialist in Yohan Cabaye. Free kick god in the Premier League. Unbelievable player. And then, on the right-hand side, you've got Hassan Ben Arfa, one of the best dribblers I think the Premier League has ever seen. That guy is the definition of the word baller. Fantastic talent. Sadly, attitude has let him down in his career. He had some falling out with managers at Newcastle, which led to him going to Hull. Fell out again with their manager. Where did he go after Hull? I can't remember exactly where he went after Hull, but he ended up at PSG after a successful spell. Where was he
Nice.
At Nice, that's it. At Nice.
I think he scored 17 goals that season at Nice, and that's probably
at Nice.
Maybe it's only Newcastle. Yeah, maybe it's only Newcastle where he had better form.
Yeah, so he got his career back on track at Nice. Went to PSG. Fell out with the manager. But in that season, unbelievable player, absolutely fantastic. You've got on the left, you've got Jonas Gutierrez, another club legend, a cancer survivor as well, fantastic player. And then up front, you've got one of the deadliest duos the Premier League has ever seen in Demba Ba, probably one of the greatest free transfers ever. And you've got Papis Cisse, an unbelievable player who scored 13 goals for Newcastle that season, and he signed in January.
Incredible.
He signed in January. Absolutely fantastic. That's 29 goals altogether between the two of them. 16 for Demba Ba, 13 for Papis Cisse. And may I add, the Papis Cisse, 2 of his goals, well, I mean, he scored a handful of fantastic goals for Newcastle, but 2 of his goals come away at Stamford Bridge in the same game. One of them a fantastic volley, or 2 of them really, one of a half volley.
Yeah,
and
half.
The second was one of the greatest goals the Premier League's ever seen. An
Definitely
outstanding finish. One that bamboozled everyone in the ground. Absolutely everyone. No one knows how he done it. And honestly, you'll never see another goal like it again. Fantastic 2-0 away result at Chelsea. And, you know, ultimately it led to them finishing 5th in the Premier League, which is one of their best ever finishes. I know back in the 90s, they were, you know, challenging for the title, never really came off. And then they just went downhill from there. But with this team, you know, the fans thought Newcastle was back up on the rise. It wasn't to be the case. You know, they've gone down, they've come back up, they've had issues, managers have come and gone. But now with this financial takeover that they're supposedly getting in, it looks like Newcastle United could be a force to reckon with, you know, yet again, Finch.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out as well. And that's at the start of that season, it looked like they were going to get Champions League football, not just a 5th place finish. They went through the first 11 games unbeaten, which is incredible. Great run for them, and I think the surprise at them getting so high in the league at the time was sort of evident with Pardew getting that 8-year contract, that famous 8-year contract with him.
That's it. It's still in date now, that 8-year contract.
God, I think no, it's just this year is coming. It's expiring, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Yep. Madness.
And it's worth pointing out as well that they also had, although he wasn't the goal scorer, he was a great backup striker and Newcastle club legend, Shola Amiobi that season.
Oh, what a player! What a player!
And then obviously, you know, like you said, Demba Ba, free transfer from West Ham, and I think West Ham didn't really want to make it permanent with him because there was some mystery knee injury, but he never had any
never showed it. No,
knee injury problems, so that was a bit weird at the time. And then obviously he was absolutely great for Newcastle. First half of the season, especially, absolute revelation. 16 goals that year, and then Cisse obviously came in. I think Bar was sort of pushed out a bit. Great partnership, but pushed out a bit to one of the wings, not as a winger, but more to the right or left, supporting Cisse because he was on such a great run. Obviously, they're both from Senegal, so both knew each other quite well, and the partnership worked for Senegal as well. And when Cisse came in, it sort of gave Newcastle that bit of extra impetus. 13 goals, like you said, but 13 goals in 14 appearances. That's just
a mental
crazy.
Stat. That is crazy. That is incredible for a Premier League striker to get that. You know, he's not scoring against the lower Premier League clubs either. He's scoring against some big teams.
Yeah. And it wasn't like he came into the massive fee either. He was doing well in the Bundesliga with Freiburg, but only for 9 million he came in to Newcastle. And obviously later in his career, he didn't live up to his initial sort of expectations with that great goal ratio. And Demba Ba obviously probably did a little bit better in terms of what he's done. He went to Chelsea, obviously. Then obviously went to Turkey. Besiktas did great there. And he's just been unlucky with that big injury he had. But still an amazing player. He had a great career. I think he's still playing in some capacity, Demba Ba as well. But first half of the season, especially that year, he was an absolute revelation. And then the type of player he is, he's not selfish. He let Cisse sort of take the forefront in the second half of the season. What a team that was. They got some great wins over. They got some wins over the big sides as well. United, they got a win over Liverpool, a win. Chelsea away, that famous game, like you said.
Chelsea away,
scoring those 2 goals. It's just that second goal, like you said, from Cisse, the left to right movement, the swerve on the ball. That was just a
completely bamboozled
waving
check.
his arm. Waving his arm. He had no chance. I think it even hit the post, didn't it? And he went in with that swerve so much.
Goal. It was an incredible goal.
Incredible goal. But a great team who unfortunately was broken up the next few years. But Demba went, Goodbye went to PSG.
Yeah, that was a weird move.
Got injured.
Yeah, because when Kabay went to PSG hardly ever played him.
Not at all.
No, hardly ever played him.
Well, the thing is, the amazing thing about that team as well was how cheap it was. They got some great bargains, that team. I think Kabay was like 4 million from Lille, and he came to Newcastle after Lille won the league as well. So to get a player like that for 4 million, it's like going to France and trying to get someone from PSG to centre mid like Verratti. You wouldn't get him for 4 mil. But Newcastle scouting was very, very good at the time. They got Ben Arfa from Marseille on loan, and then made it permanent. They got the likes of Tiote, James Gutierrez, Colaccini. Tim Krul came through their academy. Demba Ba was a free transfer. They took the risk. Cisse. So they all were pretty well priced transfers. But yes, a great team, and that sort of brings me on to another great team from Northern England, around Manchester though, but it's not a Manchester team, a Lancashire team. I think it's a Lancashire. It's Bolton between
it's around that area. It's around that area. Yep.
And maybe it's just outside Lancashire, but I'm not very good with geography.
Around like Wigan sort of way, I believe.
Yeah, I know it's in the north. I don't really know too much about the north, but I know about the football teams in the north, and that's the main thing. But Big Sans Bolton, what a team between. I'm not going to go for one season. I'm just going to go for a period with them. So 2003 to 2007. So the league finishes say it all. 2003, 2004, they got 8th. 2004, 2005, they got 6th. 506, 8th. 607, 7th. So in that period, they didn't finish any lower than 8th, which is great considering where they are now in League One.
Oh, you think of Bolton right now.
They had some good League Cup runs as well. They finished runners up in 2003, 2004, and an amazing team assembled by Big Sam. And he probably is one of the most underrated managers, I think, just because people give him a lot of stick. And look at what he's done with the club size. And I'm just going to go for this team he assembled, and people give him stick for the type of football he plays. He's played more recently with his most recent teams like Everton, West Ham, that kind of thing. But he actually played some great football set up the great football at Bolton. He had Juicy Jaskalainen in goal. What a goalkeeper he was. Great service.
Mate, that's a Premier League legend right there, in my opinion.
Of course.
Fantastic keeper. In
the Premier League for years as well, consistent 10 years.
With West Ham as well, fantastic.
Yeah. Ricardo Gardner, another Bolton legend, great player in defence. Gary Speeds, another unfortunate player who's not with us anymore, but absolute great player. And Wales legend Ivan Campo came from Real Madrid, went to Bolton.
Legend.
Ipswich legend. He had one season at Ipswich. Tal Ben Haim, great player at
Chelsea legend.
Well, yeah. All 10 appearances make him a Chelsea legend. But he had a great career at Bolton, and that's why Chelsea bought him or got him for free or whatever. I don't know how the transfer worked out. But then you had some stars like JJ Okocha. What a player he was! A beautiful player to watch. I grew up watching him in the Premier League, thinking what a player. The tricks he did. You see that YouTube video or the Twitter clip all day long with him just flicking the ball up from behind him. Yeah. Beautiful flick. And you don't see many players try that. The confidence he had. I think he was at PSG at the same time as Ronaldinho. Just them two together, I would have loved to relive that period.
They would have just took the piss out of everyone.
Definitely. And then he had some stalwarts in Kelvin Davis. What a player he was for Bolton throughout that whole period. Solid footballer. Always got around 8, 9, 10, 11 goals. Wasn't a great goal scorer, but was very consistent. Like John Walters type of mould. A great footballer for Bolton and the one cat wonder. And then another K. You got Kevin Nolan. What a player he was. Probably
Kevin Nolan, fantastic player.
Great player at Bolton. Obviously, great player overall in the Premier League for Newcastle and West Ham. Absolutely amazing player. He always got chipped in with the goals as well. 7, 8, 9 goals. Was their club captain for a bit, and obviously Kelvin Davis was their club captain. And then the later period, you actually had Anelka in that Bolton team. I think maybe that was the 6 or 7 team, who was a great player and got quite a few goals at Bolton, and that led to a move to Chelsea. But I think that Bolton team, that period, has some great great players. Actually, were very enjoyable to watch. You had JJ Okochas, you had Elhaj Juice, those type of players.
100%. Who was the Greek player, by the way, that we was on about? Who was the Greek player?
Stelios, I think it was.
That's it.
Stelios.
Stelios. And I'm not sure whether he fits in the category of before 07. But one player who I always remember from Bolton was the right back, Greta Steinson.
Great player.
Remember, was he a part of that 06, 07 team, Greta Steinson?
Maybe he just got there in that year, yeah. I'm not completely sure.
I remember him scoring an absolute incredible goal against Arsenal.
But that Bolton team was incredible at the time. The way Big Sam assembled them to play the football he did. I think, did he leave to Newcastle in 2007? And that's sort of, he didn't have a great spell.
No.
And that sort of led to Bolton's downfall a bit after then, with Big Sam going, and a lot of their team sort of they got them at the end of their careers, like JJ Okocha was still a great player, but got him at the end of his career. And then the likes of Anelka and Nolan left, Elhaj Jude left, and Tel Benaim left. Most of those players left. Even Jussi Ascalani went to West Ham. So the team was broken up, and after a few years in the Championship, went down to League One with Ipswich, but looked like they're going to go down to League. Yeah, looked like they're going to go down to League Two. It's quite a sad story for a big club.
Massive. Right, well, moving on to the next team then in our list of underrated yet brilliant 11s. It's a choice. Where do I go? Do I go for this one or do I go for this one? No, I'm going to stick my I'll go for the top one. One of my favourite teams to watch from the 2014-15 season, and that is Southampton. What a team. Absolutely. Talent in every single position. Honestly, in my opinion, in the team, you have the two best wing backs in the league at that moment. Like, when you think of wing backs in the league at that time, you had Ivanovic, you had Zabaleta. United, but you had Valencia. Arsenal didn't really have Ashley. Yeah, it wasn't like amazing, but then you had these two young, full of experience wing backs in Nathaniel Klein and Ryan Bertrand. Incredible, absolutely full of assists, goals, clean sheets. These two could do it all. Obviously, Klein got that big money move, obviously because he was younger, to Liverpool. Didn't really work out. Now, where is he? Was he on the bench last year for Bournemouth?
Yeah,
and now, I believe he had a big injury at Bournemouth, and he's now back at Liverpool.
I'm just thinking of those fullbacks. It's probably only Spurs who had a better set of fullbacks that year with Walker and Rose.
And Walker, yeah, that's it. Well, saying that, Chelsea had Ivanovic and Azpilicueta.
Yeah, but they're not wing backs, are they?
No,
not out and out going. He went forward a bit, but Azpilicueta wasn't a sort of attacking defender. Was he? He was a pure defensive player.
Yeah, but he was like pure. Yeah, without a doubt. And then in defence, you've got an incredible partnership of Jose Font and Toby Alderweireld. Need I say more about that partnership? Absolutely incredible. And just behind them, you've got Fraser Forster, a keeper who come from the Scottish League, from Celtic, and made his acclaim as one of the best keepers in the Premier League at that moment in time. It didn't really work out for him the seasons after that. He made a lot of mistakes in the seasons after. But in this season, I remember I had him in my fantasy football team, and he scored me so many points. I think he was one of the top keepers that season for point scoring, because the amount of clean sheets they actually kept. They're a fantastic team. And, you move on to the midfield, you've got Victor Wanyama and Morgan Schneiderlin Holt in front of that back four. You ain't getting through that. That is an incredible midfield of Morgan Schneiderlin and Victor Wanyama protecting that back four. That's clean sheets for days right there. And just in front of them, you've got Dusan Tadic, unbelievable player, another baller, getting on a bit now. He probably had his best, I'd probably say his best spell in his career was at Ajax. Would you agree?
definitely his most recent spell there. He was the amount of goals he got was incredible. Ajax that in that Champions League run. How many? He got something like 35 goals or something that year, which is
something stupid like that. Yeah, something absolutely stupid. Like on the go on, finish point.
I was just going to say as well, but talking about Fraser Forster, I remember you telling me that year he's the best keeper in the league. You definitely said that.
Because honestly, at that point, I believed it. Because I don't remember De Gea performing. I remember De Gea performing. I don't think he was at the best. But I don't think I said he was the best in the league. I feel like I said he should have been England keeper. Because I would have said Courtois was best in the league.
Yeah, you definitely said he was the best England keeper.
100%. 100%. I stand by that 100%. So partnering up with Tadic, you've got Jay Rodriguez. Honestly, a player who I thought would have had a better career than what he has done, but still a fantastic player. Scores goals wherever he goes, whether it be Southampton, Burnley, West Brom. Incredible talent, absolutely incredible. On the right, you have got one of the best players in the world right now. He was starting to show signs of his ability at Southampton because, he was scoring goals left, right, and centre and still holds the record for the fastest ever hat-trick in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That is Sadio Mane. Unbelievable player. I can't believe Liverpool snatched him up for just only 30 million.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
That sums up that team as well, what Southampton's strategy, where they could have really built on it. And instead, they thought, we can cash in for Mane and just get someone cheap and then make a bit of money, pocket the money in the bank and move forward the next season. We'll just keep using Southampton as a business. And that's where they went wrong.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. And, up front, great. I absolutely love this guy. Another one for the Fantasy Premier League, Graziano Pella, one of the most handsome bastards in world football.
Only Giroud rivals him, I'd say.
Yeah, only Giroud rivals him. Incredible player. He was a top goal scorer that year, 12 goals. However, the goals were shared. Doesn't sound like a lot of goals for a top goal scorer for the team they had, but the goals were shared, I can promise you, around the squad. And that, they got 7th place that year. And for a team like Southampton, who were big back in the day, they went all the way down to League One. And for them to rise up from League One to go to the Championship, and they only was in the Championship, in the Premier League, sorry, they come back in 2012. And this is only 2 years after, and they got a squad like this. This shows how far they've come as a team altogether.
And a lot of that was down to great scouting.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And may I add, the coach at the time, Maurizio Pochettino.
No surprise there. In terms of the team he built, absolutely incredible. I'm just thinking in my head right now, I shouldn't be, but probably if you're going to have a post campaign and have two male footballers to try and attract the ladies, you'd have Graziano Pella and Olivier Giroud. Just want to point out. But so Southampton had both sides covered, the marketing and the football club. But yeah, in terms of the club and that team, it was absolutely incredible. Pele, what a play! I completely forgot about him. What a player he was. I think he was Italy's starting strike at that point as well.
Yep.
And just generally, Graziano Pella, what a player. And then Sadio Mane, also at that time, great player. They got him quite cheap from Red Bull Salzburg for a good fee. He was doing well in that league, Austrian league, and came over to the Premier League. No one really knew who he was. Great scouting again. Did incredible at Southampton. His pace was evident, and like you said, the defence, those wing backs. I thought Klein was going to really go on and do bigger and better things at Liverpool. Now, obviously, it's going to be released this summer. It looks like he's got no chance of Trent there, but
no way. But hey, I'm sure he'd do. I reckon he would do well at like a club like Leeds who are coming up, or a club like West Brom. He's still got the talent, I believe. He's still got it.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's just unfortunate to see how many of those players are still at Southampton. Any?
Ryan Bertrand.
Ryan
Bertrand. Just Ryan Bertrand. That's
sold.
it. Rest of them are sold, yeah.
There's not, some of them weren't great fees, I think the Wanyama was only like 15 million, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. I know Schneiderlin went for about 20 million, about 20 to 24 million to United. So they made a lot of money on these players. But it shows the struggle they've had in the recent years without them. Definitely.
Yeah, they just didn't replace them with good enough quality. Like taking out Schneiderlin, bringing in Jordi Clays, I think it's called.
That's it. Yeah.
Was the same kind of quality. There was some stand-up players allowed to develop, like James Ward-Prowse, since those kind of players left, but they didn't replace the strikers well enough. Shane Longs wasn't good enough.
That's it. They brought in. They thought they did. They thought they replaced Pella with Dani Osvaldo.
Yeah, but he only scored one goal. Comes to my memory. I think a little chip over Joe Hart at City. Great goal, but nothing more than that.
No.
But yeah, they overall their strategy just didn't work. Like taking out Mane and Tadic, bringing in Sofiane Boufal, who scored one or two good goals, but wasn't consistent. It was just players like that. It just didn't work out because they thought we could sell him for a big fee, do it again, buy someone cheap, and hope it works out. But it doesn't work out every time. And I think they found that because a lot of players they brought in just haven't been good enough, really.
I do apologise. I didn't actually mean to say Dani Osvaldo. I meant to say Manolo Gabbiadini.
Oh, of course.
Yes, I do apologise for that. It was not Dani Osvaldo. He partnered Facto Pella, and he was a good player, but he did not live up to the hype that obviously Pella did. I was trying to talk about Dani Osvaldo. I said it again. Manolo Gabbiadini, another Italian, scored 2 goals on his, I think it was his debut against Man United in the League Cup final. But and a game that Southampton should have won. I remember there was a decision for Gabbiadini. He was actually offside, but he wasn't offside. The goal was called offside, even though he wasn't. But
yeah, I remember early on he scored a lot of goals early on. Came from Napoli, or wasn't a hefty fee, 10 million, but he scored quite a few goals in his first 10, 15 appearances. I remember him thinking he was going to be really good, especially. I think he might have arrived a bit before the League Cup final. And it's up to League Cup final, he got quite a few goals. And it seemed like Southampton were a bit on a resurgence under Claude Puel. Got to that League Cup final. Probably, I think, like you said, they could have won it if that goal wasn't disallowed. Ultimately, Ibra scored those couple of goals. He scored a header and then a free kick, maybe. A free kick comes to my head.
Yeah, he scored a great free kick, and then the header was like 2 minutes to play. Just crossed it in. Great goal. So cards that, but Southampton got to feel hard done by in that final, 100%. Also, I forgot to make a standout result from that year. You might remember it, Finch. It was 8-0 against Sunderland.
What result that was?
I remember. Was it Virginie scoring that own goal? One of the most famous own goals in the Premier League.
Who was that? Can you repeat it?
Was it Virginie?
Oh,
the Argentinian?
Yes, I know. I remember now. Sunderland's Argentinian. What's his first name? Can't remember. I remember that. Great own goal. One of the best own goals I've ever seen.
Fantastic.
Great own goal.
Absolutely fantastic. That's going to be a hard one to beat, that team. That's going to be a hard one to beat. That might be my pick, but who knows? I have to wait to find out until you. What's your team there, Finch?
My next team is a team which ultimately won the biggest club competition there is out there. Early 2000s again. I don't think a lot of the early 2000 teams get enough credit. So this team won the Champions League in 2004. Absolutely incredible team, and that is Porto under young Mourinho. It was an incredible team.
That. Love that show.
Great team. From the goalkeeper to the strikers, they all played their part. It was a great team unit. They played some good football, and just quite an enjoyable Champions League run. And they obviously won the competition. And you had the likes of the big sides, the Real Madrids, the Man Uniteds, the Barcelonas. They're all super strong. The AC Milans. But then this team from Portugal won the Champions League. You had Ricardo Carvalho in central defence, Ricardo Costa. You had Deco. What a player he was.
Oh,
absolutely amazing
unbelievable
player.
talent.
Potentially made it Barcelona did maybe a bit better, but I would say at Porto was his peak form. Absolutely
Club
incredible
legend,
player
100%.
there. And
honestly, probably deserved to win the Ballon d'Or that year. He's definitely within the shout of winning the Ballon d'Or, 100%.
Definitely one of them. And probably Thierry Henry was as well, but that's another. I think we should do that one. Maybe we could do that podcast next because I think there's quite a few Ballon d'Or winners.
That podcast soon,
should
100%.
Have got it, but because Thierry Henry, great season that year as well.
Yeah.
And then you had actually, this is a little fun fact, you had Nuno there, the Wolves coach. He played a couple of games for Porto. His career wasn't great as a footballer, but he wasn't at Porto side. He probably has Champions League medal. You had another Chelsea player who went on to Chelsea and Paulo Ferreira, very reliable right back. Mourinho loved him, very reliable.
Club legend Paulo Ferreira. Stayed at Chelsea a very long time, even though he didn't actually play a lot in the later years, but he still stayed in the squad.
Yeah. And then up front, a player who ultimately came to the Premier League as well, and Benny McCarthy. He was a top scorer that year with 20 goals. He was incredible for Porto and doesn't get enough appreciation for how good he was in that period. He came to England at Blackburn, did great there as well, but his temperament probably wasn't right in the end because I don't think he was the most healthy individual, didn't concentrate on fitness.
No,
so
I remember his
at West Ham.
He was at West Ham. He was labelled quite overweight. I remember, but hey, he had a great partnership with Jason Roberts.
Yeah, and Roque Santa Cruz, what a player!
Oh, without a doubt.
And I think there's a few underrated players in that team as well who went on to England like Benny McCarthy. He didn't go to the main side, which is quite interesting. Like Pedro Mendes as well. He stalwart in that Porto side, yeah. Sort of went to Spurs, then Porto had a solid Premier League career, but didn't do too much. There's a few players like that who just were very good as part of that team.
Pedro Mendes could have had one of the greatest Premier League goals, of all time, if not for dodgy officials at Old Trafford with that Roy Carroll spill.
There's a few of them like that. I remember a player we talked about before, Cecchiotto. He could have had a great goal against Man City. Dodgy officials said a player was impeding Joe Hart. He wasn't.
No, it wasn't whatsoever.
But yeah, I think that Porto team deserves a mention, but I probably wouldn't push it as the most underrated team, but I think they deserve a really good mention.
They definitely do. Are we doing one more team? Is this our list? Are we doing one more?
I think let's do a couple more each.
Go for it. All right, I'm gonna say my next one then. It's a team from not one of the most exciting seasons. This one, it's from the 2008-2009 season.
I know the team.
It's oh, do you know?
Of course.
Do you know what they begin with?
W.
No.
It's not. Oh wow.
You are wrong. I'm going with a team that finished 6th in the league. A team that had, just like that Newcastle team in 2011-2012, talent all over the show, and that is Aston Villa from 2008-2009.
What's the team?
I
wasn't thinking of them at all.
Are you thinking of Wolves?
We'll come on to my team after. Let's go for Aston Villa first.
Right, so in goal, you've got Brad Friedel, American legend, Brad Friedel, Blackburn legend, Aston Villa legend, even a Spurs legend, I'd go say. Unbelievable goalkeeper in the Premier League. Definitely a Premier League legend, I'd say. You got Luke Young at right back, Curtis Davies in defence, Martin Lawrenson, Nicky Shorey making up that back four. Fantastic team. You got in midfield, you got Nigel Reo-Coker. Need I say more? Absolutely solid. Stilian Petrov, what a legend. Fantastic player. Left foot, right foot, didn't matter.
Long range goals.
That's it. When he hit it, that stayed hit. Fantastic. Gareth Barry, a player who puts a shift in wherever he goes. Incredible player. And I do believe Gareth Barry holds the record for the most Premier League appearances. Am I right in saying that?
You may be. I'm not completely sure, but you may be. He's definitely up there.
I think he does.
Been in the Premier League for years.
Yeah, exactly. I think he does have the most appearances. But at this moment in time, he wasn't at his oldest either. As he went on, obviously, his pace deteriorated a lot during his days. With Everton, West Brom, Man City, but Aston Villa, he still had it. Obviously, that led to that big money move. Yeah, it led to that big money move to Man City. I remember Man City were after him a lot after this season because he really showed his worth. Even got into the England setup after this, went to the World Cup. And this guy, a fantastic player up next, Ashley Young, really announced himself on the Premier League stage with his performances in this season. One of the best players' performances I've ever seen in a game. I remember it was against Everton, 3-2. John Lescott scored 2 for Everton. Ashley Young scored 2 for Aston Villa, including a stoppage time winner after Everton had just scored in stoppage time to equalise. This team had a lot of fight behind them. They really wanted to challenge for that top 4. Unfortunately, didn't get it. Had a bit of a lackluster European campaign season before and also the season after. But nonetheless, a great team. And then up front, you've got another great partnership in John Carew and Gabriel Agbonlahor. That's just goals written all over that partnership. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Natural born goal scorers. Gabriel Agbonlahor probably doesn't get the praise he deserves just because of how his career panned out after his time at Aston Villa. He never really done much in after 2012, I'd say, when Benteke came into the club and took all the limelight. And then since then, he's just been plagued with injuries and whatnot. But this team, what a fantastic team this was. So much fun to watch. You had so much talent in there. So yeah, that's my pick for another underrated XI.
Great team. And at the time, I think their defence was absolutely incredible. I remember having quite a few defenders in my fantasy football team over the course of that season. Was Richard Dunn there at the time?
Yeah, Richard Dunn was there.
Absolutely amazing defender. Came from Man City, known for getting a few red cards, but very solid at the time at Aston Villa. Obviously, that back 5 with Friedel were a very, very solid unit. And then the midfield, like you said, Gareth Barry, penalty taker, got a few goals outside of the penalties as well. Chipped in.
Yep.
You had Milner there at the time?
Yes, James Milner was there.
Milner and Ashley Young on either wing, so great pace. So Milner had an extra yard at pace at that point. Defenders had to really, really watch themselves because they pushed right out wide by them two, crossing the balls in. And then John Carew and Gabriel Agbonlahor got quite a few goals that year. And in that period as well.
27 between them, that partnership. 27 that year.
Wow. What a team. What a team they were. I remember really enjoying watching them.
Yeah. Great all-round play.
But the team I was actually going to mention that year as well, crossed over the continent. Let's go to Germany. The team which is forgotten. They won the Bundesliga that year under Felix Magath. Later went to Fulham. Didn't really do much there, but what a coach! Yep. He had some weird tactics that stuff he did. I think he did like magician stuff. I think some weird stories about him, but let's not go into that. This is a fake show. But yeah, so this Wolfsburg team, they won the title.
Great shout. Yep.
You had Bayern Munich there, who came second. They won the title by 2 points, and unbelievable team. Standouts being you had Edin Dzeko. Absolute goal getter, 36 goals in all competitions that year. 36.
One of the most underrated strikers of all time, Edin Dzeko. Yes. It's in our podcast from the other week. Go give it a watch where we list all the underrated players from the year 2000 to now. He's up there.
Definitely. What a player he was, and that got him that move to Man City. But also you have another Bosnian. You had 2 great Bosnians. You had Dzeko, 36 goals, got the goals. Then you had Misimovic, 20 assists, a player who's hardly talked about it anymore. But that year, Misimovic, 20 assists in the Bundesliga. That is a mean fee. He got 7 goals as well. So what a player. And whilst we're talking about the strikers, can't not talk about Grafite. 28 goals. 28. He's the top scorer in the Bundesliga that year.
Yep.
Absolutely incredible player that year. Didn't really do much after, but he scored some great goals. There's that one goal, absolutely incredible. One of my favourite goals of all time, where he backheels it. Jules past a few players, then decided,
runs around the whole defence.
And then a player starts whilst he backs heels. This is the cheekiness of it. There's a defender on the line, and the defender sort of just falls over to the other side of the ball and can't quite get there. It's beautiful to watch, beautiful.
Unbelievable.
And then you had some other very dependable players, like I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but Josu, the Brazilian. He was their captain, stalwart in midfield, played nearly every game. And then another player I liked on FIFA at the time, maybe he's Brazilian, I think, but it's Santana. Great player he
Felipe
was.
Santana. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he might not be Brazilian, but in my head, I have his.
He is Brazilian, yeah. Felipe Santana's Brazilian.
Yeah.
Another one at the back that you probably are going to mention, but Andrea Barzagli.
What a player!
Unbelievable player. I did not realise he was at Wolfsburg.
Really?
I did not realise. I thought he was. I thought he come through sort of Juve academy.
Was he in Wolfsburg? I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But he was a big part of that title winning side.
Yeah, that obviously that probably did get in the move to Juventus.
Yeah, and then he partnered with Chiellini, and the rest is history.
It's a great shout out great show. And then I think that they're worth a shout again, but they are mentioned every now and again, so I wouldn't call them the most underrated team. But I think my next shout is going to be the one that I'm going to really push as being the most underrated team, because I think it's the most underrated team in an era we've been talking about quite a bit. And I'm going to pick a team between 2003 and 2005, and that is Middlesbrough. In 2003, 2004, the league finish wasn't great, got 11th in the league, but they won the League Cup. The next year, they came 7th in the league. It was under Steve McClaren, played some great football. And overall, absolutely great team, some great results. Like in that League Cup run, they beat Arsenal in the semi-final. Very good team. I really enjoyed watching them. And if you go through that team now, you'll remember most of them. You had Mark Schwartz and Mr. Dependable in goal. Absolutely great goalkeeper. Hugo, okay, I can't pronounce his name. Can never pronounce his name, but you know the one. Hugo Ehigu. Great player. Let's move on. I think great player. Gareth Southgate, very dependable that for the first couple of years. Then towards the end of his career, ultimately replaced. Steve McClaren at the helm for Middlesbrough later on. Then you have in that 2003-2004 year, one of his many spells at Middlesbrough, Juninho. What a player he was!
Great midfielder.
8 goals in 2003-2004. Yeah, like I said, winning many spells. Middlesbrough. He went to Atletico, went to different places, but best form I think was at Middlesbrough. You had some other great players like Bolo Zenden. What a player he was! Went from Liverpool to Middlesbrough. Still great at that point. Was instrumental in the cup run. Downing started to come in the side at that point. So I think a few appearances 2003-2004 is mainly 2004. 2005, he got more appearances. Overall, a great team. You had like some underrated stars there as well. Frank Quadru was one of them underrated stars. Went to Fulham after that. Even Mendita, what a player he was. Went from Valencia. Went from some great, I think Real Madrid, Valencia to Middlesbrough.
Oh yeah, great. I know the one you mean. Fantastic player. I'll let you keep going, but I hope you're going to mention this one player. So
and then you, as the years went on. I'm going over the period like 2003, 2005. You got more involvement with Downing. Then you had the Mark Viduka era. What a player he was, Mr. Viduka. Yeah. We started talking about him at Leeds, and then partnering him in 2004, 2005. What a partnership this was.
Here we go.
The following year, another partnership, but this year, 2004, 2005, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank came.
Yes.
What a player he was. So he, obviously, great spell at Chelsea. Scored some outstanding goals. Missed the great goals, I call them. Absolutely amazing goals. Also went to Atletico, scored some great goals there as well. Then sort of came to Middlesbrough, formed a great partnership with Mark Viduka. And in the following years, this is sort of out of my time period, but I want to mention it anyway, just because I think I love watching these two up front, Viduka and Yakubu. The two Kubas, both with used any of their names. They were just two peas in the pod. Them two together, defences were feared of them. God, what a team!
Feed the yak and he will score.
Of course. But that was probably his best period, I think, of his career.
Fantastic. That is a great show, actually. I like that team a lot.
And they won the League Cup.
And UEFA Cup finalists.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Didn't win it, unfortunately. They lost to, was it Fiorentina?
Oh, that's worth checking up.
Have a little look.
Because they had some great. I think that was 2006. They got to the UEFA Cup final, and I know they lost to Sevilla. That was it. And that was when, so you had more underrated players. So if I'm looking over the period, extend the period a little bit more, you have Junior Floyd Housebank still there. But there's one player I didn't talk about, which was an absolutely incredible player, Fabio Rockenbach. Scored some great goals, Brazilian, and he was definitely Brazilian. The goals he scored. And then James Morrison, George Boating, what a player he was.
George Boating, the Ghanaian, yeah?
Yeah. No, I think he's from Netherlands. I think he's Dutch.
Who's the one who I'm thinking of? Boateng from Ghana.
Kevin Prince Boateng.
Oh, yeah. That's the one.
But there's overall great team. Steve McLaren, he doesn't get enough praise for building that team. Like we still talk about Big Sam with Bolton, of Steve McLaren with this team, from every single position. They were great to watch when you have players like Fabio Rockenbach. That front two, let's look at that front two in the 2006 UEFA Cup final. Mark Viduka and Junior Floyd Hasselbank, incredible players.
That's the reason why, mate. What a team! That's the reason why Steve McLaren ended up getting that England role with the success at Middlesbrough.
And then you can't really, although they did win the UEFA Cup, you can't criticise them too much for losing to Sevilla, because that Sevilla side, that's another underrated team. We'll just quickly mention, just because it's worth mentioning, they got quite a few UEFA Cup wins that period. I think they won it year after year, and they had Dani Alves, great player right back, Luis Fabiano, great striker he was.
Yep.
Javier Saviola, great player he was. Off the bench, they've been brought on Canute. Very good player.
Wow, Freddie Canute.
Great player. He had a spell, obviously Spurs known for in England. And then you obviously had Jesus Navas. And one day Ramos was the manager.
That's a great team out there.
But overall, great team. I think they won it the next year, I'm pretty sure, against Espanyol. So they won it 2 years in a row. And I think 2008 was the first year in obviously 3 years they didn't win it, so they won it back to back, which is.
And then they went on the later years, didn't they? And they went it back to back to back. I believe they went 3 in a row or 2 in a row again. They beat Liverpool and someone else in the finals.
Yeah. I remember Daniel Sturridge scoring that goal and then coming back.
Yep.
Is that core team with the likes of Fabiano, Canute, who went on and did. Dani Alves did a great spell there. People forget his spell at Sevilla, actually. Very forgotten. He won obviously back-to-back trophies there. And then Palop was the goalkeeper as well. What a goalkeeper he was. Absolutely. That is a big thing, actually, think about it. People never talk about Dani Alves' spell at Sevilla. He played 175 times in the league there. It's actually incredible.
There's a reason why Barcelona bought him.
One, I mean, look at his trophy. Just there's a reason he's got the most trophies in out of any player in Europe currently. That's because he got in his early career, even got quite a few at Sevilla. He got the Copa del Rey, got the Super Copa, got back-to-back UEFA Cups, got the UEFA Super Cup in 2006 as well. So for Sevilla actually to beat Barcelona in the UEFA Super Cup in 2006 was incredible. And funny that year actually, because he got man of the match.
Oh really? Is that the year? Yeah, is that the year after he went to Barcelona?
2006, he was at Sevilla. 2008, I think he went to Barcelona.
Yeah, 2008. Well, they saw something in him that game. That out.
Yeah. So a couple of years later, but yeah, what a team he was. Have you got any other teams? We've gone through quite a few now.
I don't. I'm ready to wrap. I'm ready to. Well, I do have. All right, I'll give one more a good shout.
Let's do one more each.
All right, one more. 2012, 2013 season. This one. This is a team with, again.
I know the ones. I know the team this time. I definitely know it.
Yeah, you know it. You know exactly what. It's got the greatest ever one season wonder involved in it. The Carling Cup winning team, a top 10 side. This team beat some of the biggest teams in England, and they're not even in England themselves. It is, of course, Swansea City.
Great team. Played some great football. The Barcelona of Wales.
Yeah. Under Laudrup, fantastic side. Absolutely fantastic side. In goal, you've got Michel Vorm, a fantastic keeper who should never have left Swansea to go to Spurs. Should never, ever have left. Angel Rangel, a great name, start off with. Fantastic centre-back. And, can play centre-back or right-back. You've got Ashley Williams, who's really gone downhill recent years. However, fantastic at Swansea. I'm sure you can agree, Finch, one of the better centre-backs.
Always linked with Arsenal at that time as well. And his partner, another one season great player in the Premier League. A player I absolutely loved in that year. Chico Flores. What a player he was.
Yeah, Chico Flores, man. He never really went on to. Where did he go after
I think he went to Qatar. I think he banked his money. But I remember him flying the tackles.
Didn't he follow Laudrup?
Maybe that's where he went. Yeah, but
great player
that 1 year. But he went there before Laudrup though, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's only at Swansea for 1 year.
Left back, currently at Spurs now. I think he's quite underrated left back. I think he does do a good shift. Ben Davies, I think he's a good little talent at left back. In the midfield, you've got Leon Britton. I was never really a fan of Leon Britton. In all honesty, I thought he was too small for the game to be essentially in the role he had, centre defensive mid, 5'4" or something like that. He was 5'5". I just think that's a bit too small, but hey, it worked for him and it worked for that Swansea side.
He was the core of that side, and he was compared to Xavi quite a bit at that time because his one-touch football was incredible. I looked back at some highlights from Swansea that era the other day, and it was Leon Britton providing those one touches in midfield like Xavi does, which got that team going. He was the core of that team and made it tick. I think he was a great player, a great servant to Swansea. They've missed that kind of player ever since. That's why they didn't play that type of football after. But at that time, the reason they played like Barcelona-esque football was incredible. Was not just because of sort of Brendan Rodgers installed that in that team before he left to Liverpool. That year, the summer before that year, he went to Liverpool and Laudrup came in from Real Mallorca. It's because they had the likes of Leon Britton who could play a tiki-taka football.
Yeah, 100%. And partner him in midfield, you've got a Dutchman with a lot of ability, not the best attitude from what I heard, but that's Jonathan de Guzman. I thought he was a fantastic player. I think he could have stayed in England a lot more. I feel like there should have been some more offers for him, but ultimately he went off to Italy, and I think he's still in Italy. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's still playing for someone in Italy. But
maybe Chivo, something like
might
that.
Be someone like that, like Cagliari. You got Nathan Dyer, absolutely rapid on one wing. And on another wing, you've got Wayne Routledge, both just incredible pacey players. A lot of skill about them. I'd say out of the two, who was better? Probably.
It's hard.
It's really tough. I'd probably go Routledge. I think I'd go Wayne Routledge.
You got to remember though, to that year, I think that Dyer was better because he ultimately got man and much in the League Cup final, 2 goals in that League Cup final, and he would have got a hat trick. It wasn't for.
But the Guzman took he took the
selfish.
Yeah.
And then from that, I was thinking, what are you doing? Just give it to Dyer. This is once in a lifetime.
Like 3-0 up or something. They were.
Yeah.
At that point,
and he obviously won the league later years with Leicester. Got enough appearances for that on loan from Swansea, funnily enough. But yeah, I think for that year, incredible player Nathan Dyer, getting that man and match in the League Cup final against Bradford, I think it was.
Fantastic player. In centre forward, you've got a Valencia legend, Leeds United legend, and probably a Swansea legend in Pablo Hernandez, a very underrated player in his Premier League time. Really, really enjoyed watching him. I still enjoy watching him now, and he's like 30, 34, 35 years old. I really do rate this player. I think he's got a lot of skill about him. He reminds me of a lot of Santi Cazorla. I feel like when Leeds do come back up to the Premier League, I feel like he's going to be playing. So he's about 37 years old. He has got a lot of skill about him. fantastic player. And, playing just off of him is a fellow Spaniard. And like I said before, the greatest one-season wonder in the Premier League history, I'd say, in Michu. This guy, if you had him in your fantasy team, you was winning your mini league without a doubt. Everyone had him. He was formidable. Points for days, goals for days. Do you remember some of the goals he scored, Finch?
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I think it's worth putting out one season wonder in the Premier League, because he did it the previous year in Spain, got 16 goals or something like that.
Yeah, in Premier League, without a doubt.
That year, 22 goals, and they were basically all quite wonderful. I remember thinking, he came to Premier League, first appearance, got those 2 goals for Swansea. The second one, especially, where left foot curls at the top left-hand corner, beautiful curls falling over, and think, who's this guy? And then he kept on scoring some great goals over that season. I think I remember especially in getting two late goals against Arsenal away.
The chip against Arsenal, was absolutely beautiful.
88th minute and 90th minute, and he got quite a few. I think he got a few more goals against Arsenal that year. But absolutely incredible player. And of course, he was on the score sheet in the League Cup final.
Yeah, how it had to be.
Absolutely unbelievable. 22 goals.
And
he wasn't really a proper out-and-out striker either.
No, he was more of a centre forward, I'd say. He was more of a centre forward, but a fantastic talent nonetheless. Shame about what happened after. He got injuries that really ruined him. I think he had quite a bad knee injury. If I'm not mistaken. But for that Swansea side to get a League Cup win and to get top 10, that's quite formidable in my opinion.
Yeah. It's worth pointing out as well the likes of Ki Sung-young as well, fundamental to that team.
Yeah.
After moved from Celtic, but all those players just fitted in so well. You had the pace on the wings with Nathan Dyer, Wayne Routledge, scored some quite a few goals that year as well. De Guzman chipped in. He got 8 goals from midfield, which is a great return, like you said. Bit sad. He was on loan, I think, also from Real Mallorca. I think Laudrup brought him over from Mallorca, his previous club, just on loan, and then he chose not to go to Swansea permanently and chose to go to Napoli. Obviously, didn't play near enough, and he hasn't had just been the same player since.
No.
Same with Michu, like injuries, and then went to Napoli as well. Didn't play much, and ended up with going to a club in the Spanish second tier, maybe, I think, and then retired. But I think he probably did make his money there because he got a big contract from Swansea after obviously that season. Overall, what a team! And they won. They won the League Cup. And I think the thing which I like about this team was the football they played. That separates them quite a bit from these other clubs that we've talked about. Is they played absolutely incredible football, and it wasn't just that season there. It was the season before when Rodgers took them up. Same team, absolutely incredible football they played. And a lot of the players were from the Championship. Brought them up. I think they're a really, really shout. And I think the last 2 teams we've sort of spoken about, what I've sort of spoken about as well, is teams which won the League Cup actually won something as well and had a great team and got quite far in other competitions.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So I think we've got to the side now. It's going to be hard because we've gone through a lot of good teams.
We have. We've gone through how many teams have gone through? I think we've done 5 each. Is it 5? 4? 5? 5,
6 each. Must have gone for at least 10, 12 teams.
It's probably been our longest podcast yet, so I appreciate it if you're still with us. But now it is time to decide who is the best underrated great team.
It's been worth waiting for, guys. So you're going to find out the result now. We love you. And
who is your pick?
I'm going to go for this team. It's very hard because I've picked some great teams here. Bolton, Wolfsburg, Porto, Ipswich. I think Ipswich deserve a special mention for that 2000-2001 season. But because if you're looking at one season, I would go for Ipswich just because no one talks about them at all. And over that one season, they got 5th place in the Premier League on their first season back. 5th place. Imagine a team doing that now. Sheffield United 7th, and they're getting a lot of praise. But imagine a team finishing 5th. That's absolutely incredible. And keeping the same kind of team. They play some great football. But I'm going to go with a different perspective on this. I'm going to look at a team which did well over a period because I think that justifies a bit more as underrated because people, even though they did well over the period, people don't really look at them in the light they should be given, and look at the manager and give the manager praise he should be given, and that's Middlesbrough. Just because over that period, 2003 to 2006, they won the League Cup, had some great players, played some great football, had special players in junior and people like that. Did well in Europe as well, so not just in the league. They got to the UEFA Cup final, won the League Cup, had some great league finishes, and overall a very, very good team to watch. What's your shout?
I'm going to say Southampton. I'm going to say Southampton for the 14-15 season. And honestly, I could have even said the 15-16 season, because they didn't have the greatest team, but actually bettered their Premier League finish with 6th that year in the 15-16 season, funnily enough. But I've got to go with the Southampton team. I feel like they were the strongest of the teams that we did discuss about. You had talent in every single position going. You had players that were worth 10 to 15 million more than what Southampton originally paid for them. The Southampton made a lot of money on these players. Every single position. You've got Fraser Forster, Nathaniel Klein, Jose Font, Toby Alderweireld, Ryan Bertrand, Morgan Schneider, Victor Wanyama, Sadio Mane, Dusan Tadic, Jay Rodriguez, and Graziano Pella. That is Premier League class in every single position. There's no bad egg there. There's no really poor player in that team. That's why I feel like they are the most underrated, great team, because of the squad they had. They had a better 11 than a lot of the bigger teams did on paper. When you look at it.
Yeah. I guess playing devil's advocate here, although they had such a great team, but in terms of underrated, in terms of what they achieved, they didn't obviously do anything in Europe when they went into Europe, and they didn't obviously win anything. I think that's the only difference to when we're looking at a team like Middlesbrough or even Swansea, who built a whole style of football for a club, and that style of football was unique to them. That sort of identified them as a club. Everyone knew Swansea are a great footballing team, and I think probably we should bring Swansea into this as well. I was talking about Middlesbrough just because Swansea won something, and it wasn't just that. It was in that period. It was more than what it won. It was in terms of the way they played and what they represented in terms of good football. I think Swansea it's going to be quite hard.
Swansea deserve a shout in this bit.
And they won the League Cup.
Yeah. And they had a great top 10 finish. Beat some big teams. They beat Chelsea along the way. But less said about that game, the better, due to the controversy with Hazard. But it's a really tough one, you know.
I think we should go with a team who's won something. That's what I'm thinking, or at least got far in the competition. That is what I'm thinking at the moment. In terms of, and they're not. I'm thinking Swansea now, just because their unique style of football in terms of the overall team, the period.
I'm liking that shout at Swansea. Especially with, you know, one of the greatest one-season wonders ever in world football. Yeah, a player who the Premier League will never ever forget. Just for his time in the Premier League, which was, you know, one season, absolutely fantastic talent. I'd say I'm gonna go Swansea then.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think we can settle and compromise on Swansea, because just what a team they were, and in that period, I can't remember a football team actually playing better football in the Premier League. I think they had the best football. In terms of, if you went to a game, that was obviously before Man City had this money coming with the ideology of playing football like Guardiola. And I think Swansea probably, in terms of, you turn on a Premier League game and you knew they played tiki-taka football, I think they were one of the best to watch in that time period. And the other teams who went through, the very, very good teams, but are they defining their playing style? Do they win anything? Probably not. And that's what separates Swansea as the underrated side, which achieved a lot more. If you look at the definition, underrated achieved more than what their squad warranted. And that's definitely what happened with Swansea that year.
Yep, 100%. So there we have it. Swansea City named as the greatest underrated 11 in
the last 20
this,
years.
in this area, yeah, of the last 20 years. There's been some absolutely fantastic teams that we've talked about on this podcast. Teams that if you just searched up the name of the team and the season we discussed, there's some fantastic football highlights for you to watch. Absolutely amazing goals, amazing play, some amazing moments that will just, bring back some nostalgia.
Yeah, and if anyone's watching this still, give Michu's goals for that season a watch. Incredible goals. It won't take you long, but
no.
You'll have a smile on your face after watching that. He always had that celebration as well. Great celebration.
Yeah, that's it. Very unique celebration. I don't remember anyone else doing that.
No. And overall, incredible team led by an incredible player to watch in Michu. Got some great results and just a great team. And they also had some good substitute players. I remember that Tremor was the goalkeeper. Was Luke Moore there or Danny Graham there? Was it one of the strikers?
Danny Graham was there.
Yeah, obviously, like you said before, stalwart in Anga. What a player he was for Swansea over the years. Great right back. And I think Neil Taylor was coming through as left back as a deputy for Ben Davis. So overall, a really, really solid team. And even Gary Monk was still there at that point as a player.
Absolutely fantastic setup they had.
So that's our pick.
So that's our picks. We thank you for watching, and see you next week.
See you next week, guys.